motion. Once again, a handoff, and lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage. Maybe even a loss of one there. We'll see where the refs want to spot this.
It looks like they got back to the line.
Looks like, yeah, that's where they were to start second down. They were lucky enough to get back to the line here. Interesting to see with about 10.5 minutes to go coming up on what they're going to do on 3rd and 6 for their opening drive.
I'd like to see them air the ball out more. I think they could take advantage.
Absolutely. Moody drops back, and he's going to be sacked pretty immediately. That line kind of crumbled on the right side there. He definitely is going to need a little more time than that to get rid of that ball.
And you could tell McKeesport definitely has the size advantage up front right
Absolutely.
now.
Absolutely. It did not take much to get solid penetration on McKeesport's end. That's a great play for their defense, getting ready to get their offense onto the field here.
The big thing is the Colonials need to get this ball off and not let pressure get to the punter.
We got flags all over the field here on the snap for the punt. See what we got coming up here. Going to be a penalty against Albert Gallatin.
And like I said earlier, this team needs to be more disciplined.
Not too bad of a punt, fielded at the 45. McKeesport's going to cut inside from where the ball was fielded to a nice return down to about the 26 of Albert Gallatin.
I'm interested to see how this defense holds up. Last week, defense gave up, I believe, over 30 points. So if they need to try to manage this offense that currently McKeesport, according to Max Preps, is averaging 307 rushing yards a game. So
that is pretty staggering for a high school football team to be averaging not only triple digits but 300. A little bit of a stoppage in play. I think we're switching balls here. I think we were talking before the game, Tommy. You said that their running attack, McKeesport's running attack, looks pretty promising.
Yeah, it's up there. I mean, that's basically the heart of their not only their offense but really their team. So you have to find something to try to stop them, because a guy, if you're going to give up rushing yards against this team, you're going to give up big yards. It's not going to be the little 3-4 yard gains. They have speed and they have power, so I'm interested to see what type of defense the Colonials try running, if they try blitzing the middle or play back in a zone more.
Looks like we got a 4-4-2 defense from Albert Gallatin right now. Toss from McKeesport right up the right side down to about the 15-yard line. That's a great rushing play right off of the bat for these guys.
Number 15, Devin Sims. We'll have to keep an eye on him, as made some shifty cuts right there.
That's a great way to open up the game for a running back here. We're looking at a first down on the Colonial 16-yard line. After that successful run, see what they have next. It's going to be another handoff, but the Colonials absolutely did a better job that time around. Their defensive line definitely got the right penetration, plugged those holes. We're going to be a 2nd down and 6 for McKeesport. Only a gain of 4 on that last play. They're down to the Colonials' 12-yard line.
It looks like the Tigers have a big wide receiver, number 6.
Absolutely. And QB keep into the end zone for McKeesport.
Number 22, Davari Robinson.
3 plays for McKeesport into the end zone. This McKeesport offense absolutely looks high power just from the couple explosive running plays that we've seen. And brushing back on your comments on their wide receiver down there, I actually have number 6 listed as a tight end. I have DeMonte Diggs, a 6'5" junior, so he's definitely going to be somebody to look at if we're talking about the size advantage. Meanwhile, the extra point from McKeesport is good. Your score with 8:34 to go in the first quarter is McKeesport 7, Albert Gallatin 0.
Colonials need a good special teams return here.
Absolutely. They really don't want to let this get away. They don't want to play catch up, as I like to say. They really want to keep it within a score, maybe 2 at the very most. But a team that's going to be as good as McKeesport is looking, you definitely want to limit yourself to 7 points here for a gap.
The big problem is on that last series for the Colonials on offense, when you start at the 15-yard line, it's hard to get momentum against a team this big. Where if you get a good return, say you're down at the 40 or even the 50-yard line, then they have to play the field smaller. They can't be So I'm hoping that the Colonials can find a way to block and get a gap and hopefully get this ball rolling. And hopefully once they get that far, then the offense can start developing and hopefully run more than just a quarterback keeper or a counter or something like that.
For sure. McKeesport's going to kick it off from the left hash. Very nice kick down to the Colonials 7-yard line where it'll be fielded. Right up the middle, up to about the 9. Oh, he's still on his feet. He faked me out on that one.
Looks like he's down around the 23-yard line. Is that right, Robbie?
Roundabout. That was a good return. I'll check it out here as soon as they post everything. Yes, it is 1st and 10 on the 23. I'd like to see Albert Gallatin maybe air it out a little bit, maybe on 1st and 2nd down instead of saving it on that 3rd down. You get to even 3rd and 6. It's still considered a little long. You get a little too predictable in that sense. It's good to have a lot of running, but I'd like to see it a little earlier.
And the thing
on
is,
this drive.
A lot of mistakes are made in high school football. Let a cornerback have to make the right play onto a wide receiver.
Absolutely. That was a handoff for the Colonials down to about the 20-yard line. Lost about 3 on that one. So we're going to come back with 2nd and 13 on about the 20-yard line. Right back to that size advantage that McKeesport has on that D-line. That was instant penetration. Yeah. He didn't have much time to go.
It looks like the secondary for McKeesport is also
very, very long.
Big.
Very long. We're going to have an under center snap here. Another handoff. Actually, it's a QB keeper. They're doing an excellent job at faking me out tonight. Only for about 2 to 3 yards. So they're only going to give them 1.
And here, like you said, Robbie, in this 3rd down situation, 3rd and 6, it's tough to fool a defensive coordinator when you know what they're running.
Absolutely. I mean, 3rd and 10, it's a no-brainer at this point to throw the ball. I mean, you can run and hope for the best, but you have to even throw in some like play actions earlier downs would be easier to fake out.
There's a good cut. It looks like he got first down.
He might have got it. Yeah, that was a nice little trick play there.
I like how Colonials spread the ball out. I feel like if they can spread the field, make it a true 52-yard width of the field, and make the Tigers spread out a little bit. They're so congested in the middle, it's making it predictable. Where
if you want to stick with that run game and you're having issues up the middle in the gaps where those I mean, I'm looking down, just number 50, sake of the example, down on the D line there, defensive end. He's a pretty large guy. If you want to get around that, you have to toss it out like they just did, and obviously it was successful. So we got 1st and 10 from the Albert Gallatin 34. We got another handoff to the left. Now QB keeper, and he was stuck in the backfield.
And you would feel the Colonials almost need the sense that they need to move away from that for a little bit. I know you don't want to completely abandon your game plan, but you can see the averages. It's not working out right now, and hopefully
Absolutely.
they can switch into something where they do a little bit more perimeter and a little more passing.
You don't want to get predictable. You don't want to get to a point where you're just trying to make the big play on third down. Now, it was very successful before, but it's not going to be successful every time. Got an under center snap here from Moody. He's putting a man in motion right up the back. He's going to keep it himself again. And once again, he's going to be stopped for a loss. Looks like they're going to spot the ball right in between the 30 and the 31. They're going to give them the 31-yard line. So that's going to bring up your third down and 13. So at this point, we're back to the situation they just were in a few minutes ago where what do? Do you try to fake out? Do you try to air it out finally?
Exactly, and when you're the number 43 team in the state, you're not going to get fooled twice.
No, not a chance. These guys are looking very good. We actually do air it out, but to triple coverage, nearly intercepted. Moody's very, very lucky that one did not get picked off. That coverage was excellent from McKeesport. That was excellent coverage. They were able – it looked like Albert Gallatin was trying to drive everybody to the left towards the sideline, and, you know, McKeesport, they were right there with – that looked like triple coverage that was thrown into, but don't have time. You got to do something. We're going to line up for a punt here on 4th and 13 from Albert Gallatin. Ball's back. We're going to punt it away. Pretty nice punt.
Yeah.
Not bad. It's going to be fielded about the 37-yard line. Going to cut out to the right side.
That's a good stop, but there's a flag on the play.
Yes, yeah. Excellent job of keeping it to a minimal gain for McKeesport, but they could have a couple more yards here, barring what the penalty is. Looks like we're going to have a penalty on Albert Gallatin here. Face mask to be exact.
That's hard to do when you're punting the ball.
Absolutely. That's a hefty penalty as well. Definitely want to keep that area around the head and neck protected in football, so they're definitely going to pay for that one. McKeesport is into enemy territory now with the penalty. They're going to be spotted at the 41-yard line with a 1st and 10 with 4:49 to go here in the first.
And McKeesport's only averaging around 87 yards per game through the air, so it'll be interesting to see if they keep it on the ground or if they decide to start airing it out against this Colonial defense.
We got either a neutral zone infraction or an offsides. I was paying more attention to the defense. The line judge down here is signaling for the neutral zone infraction from Albert Gallatin, so hand him a couple 5 more yards here. McKeesport's already up to the 36-yard line. They haven't even run a play yet.
I mean, you can't give up 20 yards in penalties.
No way, no way. So we got 1st and 5 from the 36 here. We're going to have a bit of a trick play. Looks like to the fullback, and he is down to the 10, the 5, and he is in on the first play of the drive for McKeesport.
That's big-time speed. Number 15, Devin Sims.
And you can assume that they probably cycle these guys out, but that was from your fullback, let alone from your halfback.
Yeah.
You know, the guy that's a little tougher, guy that's supposed to get in there and block, stalk your guy. That was an impressive run. McKeesport going to line up for an extra point. Going to snap it from the 2, lined up on the 10. Ball's back, kick is up. That kick is good. With 4:40 to go in the first quarter, it is now McKeesport 14, Albert Gallatin 0.
It's going to be interesting to see how the Colonials respond. I mean, 14-0 in the first quarter. You almost have to hit the panic button and try to do something different.
A team like this, like we talked about, wanting to keep it 14 at the most, it's definitely time you might want to start pulling some tricks opposed to, this heavy run. It's okay to have a heavy run offense by all means. I mean, I played a couple years back for Albert Gallatin, and it was the same way. but start running it to the outside. Start, those QB sneaks, they haven't been working too well. The runs up the middle haven't been working too well. McKeesport's getting excellent penetration on the line. That's definitely the highlight of their defense as far as I've seen in this game. Start running some tosses. Get the ball outside a little bit.
I'd like to see the Colonials utilize a shotgun formation.
That would be good too. That would be great too.
Out.
They've definitely been lining up, QB under center every play with 1 to 2 backs. A shotgun would be something nice to see as well as McKeesport gets ready to kick the ball off here. Another very good kick, fielded about the 10-yard line. Albert Gallatin's going to cut it out to about the left side of the field. Running up the numbers, a decent return here. Albert Gallatin down to the 35. Great return by Albert Gallatin. Great return by Albert Gallatin. Great defense by McKeesport, not letting them break away because he definitely had a chance.
That was bad news running all over it.
Absolutely. That could be a nice little spark. The nice little spark that Albert Gallatin's looking for here.
Hopefully they capitalize on it. Let the offense do their thing. Let them run a little bit.
Can't have a good return without at least getting some points on the board. That's what I always think. We're going to have 1st and 10 here from the 35. Albert Gallatin on their own side of the field. Under center is Moody. He's going to put a man in motion, snaps the ball, hands it off to the fullback. He's going to get a gain of maybe 1. If they want to be generous, they'll give him 2. It looks like they were feeling a little generous today. Gave him a gain of 2 to the 37. So we got 2nd and 8 coming up for Albert Gallatin.
And that's not a bad run on 1st down.
That's not a bad run. 2 or 3 yards every time. That's going to get you down the field.
Yeah.
That's going to get you down the field. Yeah, everybody wants these highlight plays, but you can make a living doing those very little runs. Man in motion once again. QB sneak from Moody to the right side. He's going to be taken down hard, about the 34-yard line. Drop a couple more yards, unfortunately.
And that's unfortunate because there were definitely blockers set up downfield.
They did distribute. It was a fake handoff to the other side. It resembled the previous play that they had just ran. Try to get in McKeesport's head a little bit, but then Moody obviously keeps the ball and runs to the outside. They had the blockers, just too many defenders.
Yep.
It's good offense, but better defense. So Albert Gallatin's going to line up at the 35 for a 3rd and 10 where they originally started the drive here.
And the Tigers aren't expecting a pass. Look how close the safety is to the line of scrimmage. He's playing about 13 yards back.
We got looks like 4 guys in the box. There's an outside toss by Albert Gallatin out to the left side. Not a bad gain, but not enough on 3rd down. So we're going to be, looks like punting the ball from the 38-yard line on a 4th and 7.
You wonder if they're going to try a fake here, try to get a
that
spark.
That could be a spark. That could be a spark. You get to these points where we talked about playing. We're playing catch up and getting a little. Oh, we got a muffed ball snapped over the head of the punter. That's going to be marked down at the 20-yard line. The punter was able to recover. The punter, I believe we have Nathan Sutton out there punting.
Yep.
Very good job of him to dive on the miss. That ball was a little high. That
could have been very bad.
Could have been very bad. The unfortunate part still is that McKeesport's going to line up on the 20-yard line now.
And the fact of the matter is, and the scoreboard reflects this, the Colonials have not been past the 50-yard line, and the Tigers have started on the wrong side of the 50-yard line every time. So
barring some penalties, it's like we talked about in the early portion of the game as we have a handoff to the left side, and I believe
they're going to spot him down.
He looked like he was in from up here, but that's why we're not down on the field, I guess. Yeah, they're going to spot him after the first play of the drive from McKeesport. McKeesport's offense running on, total efficiency right now. It's going to be 1st down and 1 from the 1-yard line. And as you could assume, we're going to have a quarterback keeper. His linemen are just going to try to make just enough space for him as they did.
This team's impressive.
They are very impressive. They deserve all the praise that they do have. They deserve the 43rd rank in the state. They're a fun team to watch.
Yeah.
I've never had when I played it was different alignments, different conferences. We were only in AAA, I believe, at the time, whereas now they're in 4 or 5A. Never saw McKeesport, but these guys are very tough as they line up for an extra point after their touchdown. That kick is back, up, and good. With 2 minutes and 1 second left in the first quarter, we have McKeesport up to 21 and Albert Gallatin still at 0 here.
And a testament to a good team, the Tigers have not, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Robbie, they haven't had a penalty against them.
No, they have not. I've noticed that myself. You brushed on Albert Gallatin's penalty troubles in the previous game. So I've definitely been keeping a closer eye on that, but McKeesport has been as clean as it gets in this game so far to have 3 touchdowns, no penalties. They're running. They're running one-play drives.
Yeah.
They're snapping the ball one play, 30 yards into the end zone.
I see how they're averaging 307 yards.
I'm starting to see that. We don't have live stats where we are at, but their rushing attack has to be well over, I'd say, 60 to 70 yards by now, which in the first quarter, that's pretty good.
Especially with the field position they've started at.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's definitely a factor, too. When you're only playing a 40-yard field at the longest, I don't
believe we have seen them air the ball either.
No.
I don't believe they've aired the ball. I think they have relied strictly on that running attack, and why not? Why wouldn't you at this point? You're up 3 scores in the first quarter. Something's clicking for you. McKeesport going to go ahead and line up on the left hash, kick the ball away. Their kicker is doing excellent as well. He's getting a lot of work as the Albert Gallatin return starts at the 10-yard line, is taken to the left side of the field, and he's going to be brought down on the 15.
I will say about this Colonial special teams that there's a bright spot in this game so far for them. The numbers and the stats aren't going to show it, but they are getting blockers out there. It's just you have the 1 or 2 guys that are just too quick for the Tigers.
If you can get a couple yards on special teams, that's not bad.
No.
I mean, everybody thinks like, here we are starting on the 15, 16-yard line. Well, there's no reason that you can't put a drive together and get in the end zone. It's better than starting on the 1-yard line.
And they have a terrific kicker.
Absolutely, yeah. He has a very, very strong leg. We're going to have 1st and 10 on the 16 for the Colonials, man in motion. There was a pass from Moody, and there's a nice run after the catch.
And that's what the Colonials need, a spark.
Absolutely. Air that ball out like I've been saying, like we've both been saying. Really, that was an excellent pass, good for about 35 yards. And that I believe, Tommy's going to be their second first down, first
second first down. First time past the 50.
Yeah, absolutely. That was an all-around excellent play.
And now you have the Tigers stunned. Let's be honest, they weren't expecting that.
No, not at all. Not at all. They were expecting, a run up the middle or a sneak from Moody.
I just hope the Colonials build on this and keep that different type of offense than what they've been running previously.
For sure. We got a man in motion again. That's going to be a handoff to the tailback, but he's going to be stopped very quickly right up the middle. We had a ball on the 49-yard line. Let's see where they're going to spot us here. Going to get it down to about the 47 on 2nd and should be 8. Not a bad, like we said, 2 or 3 yard runs on first down. There's nothing wrong with that.
First down sets up the next 2.
Absolutely. We got a quarterback under center, putting a man in motion once again. That looks like a handoff.
Yeah, and a good gain.
Yeah, that's a nice game.
Keeper.
Was a quarterback keeper. He's doing an excellent job. These guys are picking up on it, but I'm not.
Tripped up by number 5, Gideon Beatty from the Tigers.
As the clock winds down on the first quarter here.
And they're going to have 3rd down and 2 for the Colonials.
We're going to have a 3rd and 2 for Albert Gallatin.
You wonder what they call here. Do you try running it up the middle again, or do you try something outside and try to throw them off?
That pass, I like that pass to get the drive rolling here. I'm not going to lie.
They're going to keep it.
And on the keeper, number 11,
Braden Moody's going to go ahead and keep the ball once again. And then we're going to get an Albert Gallatin first down from the refs down here.
And here we go.
16.6 seconds left on the first quarter. Very nice QB sneak on that last play. Now here's my concern. As the clock winds down here, we have 4 seconds. Call it the end of the first quarter. Your score: McKeesport 21, Albert Gallatin 0. I think they must have
one more play.
They must have got a snap off before the play, so that benefits Albert Gallatin. McKeesport did an excellent job of keeping them to a couple yards. But my concern is, so you're putting a great drive together after you've been stopped, 3 times, we'll call it now. Time runs out. You have this dead time now. You're regrouping, you're getting some water, you're doing the whole 9. Does that affect your momentum at this point?
And I feel like it does, not only for the Colonials getting kind of put out of rhythm. You give the Tigers time to regroup. You give them time to get the right personnel and the right defense that they want.
That's very true.
And that's dangerous with this team. I mean, you can see what they can do. They have speed, they have size, they have strength.
Not only is their offense excellent, their defense has been excellent too, keeping the Colonials at that 0 the whole first quarter. Going to go ahead and switch sides of the field. Going to go ahead and get ready to line up here as we get back underway. Brief break. It's going to be an Albert Gallatin 2nd and 5, 3-yard line.
You wonder what the Colonials are going to come out after having a little bit of time to think of a strategy. Maybe they even come out with a set of plays that they want to run.
Absolutely. That's another way to look at it. Maybe a little no huddle. You can throw these guys off too as Albert Gallatin puts a man in motion, snaps it. Looks like a QB sneak right up the middle. Nice little run.
This offensive line for the Colonials is doing their job. I mean, Braden Moody's having the opportunity to run the ball, and he's getting space.
Since that first drive where they just collapsed on that passing play on 3rd down, very nice turnaround.
Yeah, for sure.
Very nice turnaround. We have, looks like we're going to be awarded a first down, as they should. Looks like first down and 10 from about the 28, 29-yard line. They haven't updated it on the scoreboard, but let's keep it up to date on here. They're going to snap the ball, pretty much go nowhere. Again, maybe if they're feeling a little generous, maybe a yard or 2. Looks like a yard.
You almost wonder what the thinking is behind the play caller to run that play back-to-back, if not back-to-back-to-back. You wonder, I mean, I understand it's working out, but you don't want to almost beat a dead horse. I mean, you give what they take you, but don't.
Football is a game of strategy, and it's an updating strategy, and to run the same play over and over again, it's not going to be successful. As Colonials put a man in motion, throw the toss out to the right side. He's around some defenders, but will be stopped round about the 25-yard line.
He got that outside quick.
He did. He was very quick on that. He caught that ball, and he did an excellent job of that explosion. You need to run out almost at 60, 70, maybe even 75%. But once you touch that ball, you got to move, and he did a great job of that.
And I feel like the Tigers, if there's an area they are kind of lacking in, it's their ability to keep the perimeter. I feel like they don't have the speed to get to the outside nearly as much as they would like to.
Absolutely. Albert Gallatin's doing a good job gaining a couple yards around the outside. So Colonial's going to have a 3rd and 6 here. As a man goes in motion once again, it's going to be a handoff to the tailback. Not a bad little gain.
It'll be interesting where they spot it.
It'll be interesting where they spot it. I don't know if that was quite enough. It does not look like it. It looks like they're going to be a couple yards short here. We'll get you the precise yardage down to the 21. Looks like Albert Gallatin, looks like they're going to go for it. It's 4th down and 3 you're having success on this drive. You're down 21. Let's go for it. That's
Why
fine
not?
with me. Absolutely. Man in motion in the backfield. That's going to be a QB keeper once again.
I don't know if he got it.
He made a nice little dive at the end there. Let's see what we have.
Wow.
They're not going to give it to him.
And that hurts for the Colonials.
That does hurt. That was a great drive. That's a great little momentum builder, but to really get it successful, you got to cap that off.
Yep.
Got to cap that off. So McKeesport's going to take over for a 1st and 10 on the 20-yard line.
I think something interesting from that drive, after the big pass play, we didn't see a pass the rest of that drive.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's an interesting take on that. It was something I didn't think of as McKeesport takes the ball up to the left side as they run.
Wow.
And that is a breakaway from the 30 to the 20, the 15, 10, 5, and that is a score for McKeesport.
That's insane.
And that is a drive that started on their own 20-yard line. That was a drive that did not start on their own side of the field, and they were still able to run one play.
And there's 80 rushing yards right there.
80 rushing yards. And you're pushing 150 at this point. Here we are, 9 minutes, 11 seconds from halftime. We're getting ready to kick an extra point. It's 27-0 in favor of McKeesport. Got a little bit of a personnel change, as is standard for extra points for McKeesport. Snap is back. Hold is good. Kick is up. That kick is good. And as I said, with 9 minutes and 11 seconds in the second quarter, McKeesport 28, Albert Gallatin 0. And Tommy, that to have your offense put a little bit together there, and then your defense give up an 80-yard rush on one play, that's a letdown.
Yeah, it hurts.
That hurts.
It hurts a team, and hopefully the Colonials don't let that bring down the momentum they had on offense. I know it's going to translate both sides of the ball, but hopefully you tell your offensive personnel, hey, we're starting to figure it out. Let's keep going with our motions. I'd like to see them air the ball out more. I
would like to see them air that ball. You know, we'll brush on it again as we have a couple times. Their game plan is to run, and that's no secret. That's no secret down there. That's no secret up here. But you're down 28-0 in the second quarter. Let's run some plays. Let's see what we can do. Let's open the playbook up. Don't get discouraged.
No.
Always play for something.
Here's the thing. With a game like this, see what some new guys can do. See,
what. Yeah, that's a good look at it,
push everybody
too.
to their best. See what plays work, what plays don't. I mean, try new stuff. Right here, you're playing a top 50 team in the state. See what works against a good team like this, and then you can carry it into the next game if need be.
Not every opponent will have the rushing stats McKeesport has.
No,
will
not
have the
at all.
size McKeesport has. So that's a great point by you, Tommy. Gain some confidence in some areas that you weren't confident in before.
Yeah.
Kick is off. It's a little bit of a line drive. It's going to be still fielded at the 13-yard line by Albert Gallatin. As they rush up the right side, look at that. Another nice return by Albert Gallatin. Another nice return by Albert Gallatin. Another great stop by McKeesport. One slip by Albert Gallatin, they're gone. One slip by McKeesport, they're gone.
Yeah.
So it's definitely, that was great offense, a little bit better defense, but that's a great return. Anybody playing the sport of football would pay to start the drive at the 44-yard line.
Exactly. And I feel like the gap between the Colonial players and the Keystport players is not as big as it may seem on the scoreboard. I mean, the Colonials are making plays, and they do have playmakers. It's just the Tigers have more. I mean, that's what it comes down to.
Absolutely. We got a 1st and 10 on the 44-yard line. Albert Gallatin puts that man in motion. Going to be, I believe Moody kept it again. I believe that's the player that has been brought down. That is Moody.
Number 50, Dylan Daniel, and number 52, Mason Williams.
See where we're going to spot him here. Got a very generous spot, only losing 1 yard. Gave him a little forward progress action. We're coming up with a 2nd and 11 from the 43. Albert Gallatin now, they've gotten into the streak of running the ball. They're getting in the streak of putting that man in motion.
Yeah.
And you know that either Moody's going to keep that ball or it's going to be a run up the middle. So I'd like to see him shy away from that, too. We got an under center snap. Here comes that man.
Pass play.
Moody back to pass. Got a lot of time. Airs out the ball down to the 40.
Oh, pass interference.
It's looking like we're going to get a pass interference call.
That's a good call there.
He was on him like glue, and I didn't see that head turn back. So to have your hands in there not looking at the ball, ref's going to get you every time. There was a ref maybe 7 to 10 yards away from him on that sideline. Moody threw it to the left sideline. Looked like single coverage.
Yeah.
And like I said, they're going to get you on that every single time. So we should have, after a 2nd and 11 on the 43, we should be getting an Albert Gallatin. If not a first down, it's going to be very close.
And the thing is with passing the ball in high school football, you're able to draw more penalties at this
Absolutely.
level. Because a lot of these kids don't play a lot of defense on air attack. A lot of high school teams run the ball.
Yes.
So let them try to play a one-on-one defense.
Right. So we are going to get that first down. They're going to give the Colonials the ball at the spot of the foul as Moody rolls out after the snap. He avoids the sack, avoids another one.
Oh.
He did the smart thing holding on to that ball.
Yeah.
He did the smart thing holding on to that ball. Great job dancing around back there.
I was going to say, the offensive line picked up a very strong blitz, and I'll be honest, I was kind of impressed.
I'm sitting up here, and that was an excellent blitz. I'm not sure what player from McKeesport.
I think it was 52.
I believe it was either their strong safety over there or their middle linebacker. He timed that play perfectly. I was waiting for flags because I thought he was running right into the neutral zone, but he playing that perfectly. Moody also doing a good job. The offensive line and defensive line, respectively, doing a great job either penetrating or getting back.
Oh, there we go.
And as the Colonials come up for a 2nd and 10 on the 42, we got a little bit of premature motion down on the line. Going to be on McKeesport for that neutral zone infraction.
That's huge for the Colonials.
Absolutely. Now here's another drive. Excellent return to the 44. Now here we are. You're down to your own 37. In just a couple minutes. So let's get some points on the board this time,
for
basically.
Sure.
Moody under center. He's going to snap the ball, keep it himself, roll out to the left. He's going to hug his offensive lineman to try to get around that bend, maybe with an extra man in front of him. Only good for a couple yards. We were going to line up for a 3rd and 5 here, so it wasn't all for nothing. Correction, make that 3rd and about 2.
I like to see a jet sweep or something. I
would like to see a jet sweep. I could deal with it either side, honestly, because the right side they kind of expect it, the left side they don't expect it if you're going to toss that ball. Man in motion. Moody doesn't quite love what he sees, so he's going to bark out some commands as he gets back under center. We got a different man in motion. Handoff from Moody. Again, just like the previous drive, it's going to be very close here. I see the chain gang here. They are showing a 4th down. I got about a 4th down and 1 from the 33-yard line. And you go for it.
Yeah,
you have to go for this.
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, there's no there was the change of a back to potentially a receiver. Now he looks like he's going to line up as a back. You can't punt the ball in this situation. So 4th and 1, let's see what Albert Gallatin can do here, and let's see what McKeesport can do here too. Albert Gallatin snaps the ball. Looks like a little bit of a miscommunication in the backfield there. Moody actually getting tackled by his own running back.
That's what it looked like. Yeah. That's unfortunate too, because it looked like they had something set up.
If Moody was setting up for a little bit of a play action, and the back thought it was going to be maybe up the middle where Moody would have to shift over that way a little bit. but
that's
that's
unfortunate.
That's going to cost Albert Gallatin because second straight drive, they're moving the ball good. Had a 4th and 1.
Yeah.
Had a 4th and 1.
On 2 consecutive drives against
yes,
a very good team.
So now we have the McKeesport offense, which has absolutely been on fire this evening on the 35-yard line. They're snapping the ball on a 1st and 10. We got a QB keep from McKeesport. Excellent job by their quarterback, breaking a couple tackles in the backfield, making a little something out of nothing. See where the refs are going to spot McKeesport up here. Going to be at the 43-yard line. And that was something we haven't seen McKeesport do. Maybe they're trying to exercise a little bit of variety in their playbook as well, with a very solid lead.
I mean, this team's not only in contention for the Whippy-Ols. I mean, this is a PIA contender.
Absolutely. Anything 50 and above in your state as there's a snap off and McKeesport to the right side, right up the middle, going to get a couple more yards. Yeah, anything, if you're top 50 in your state, state of Pennsylvania is a big place.
Yeah.
State of Pennsylvania is a big place.
Too.
It's a football state. I've heard a lot of people say anything besides the state of Texas.
Yeah. This
is a big place to play, so anything top 50, that's pretty darn good whenever there's, 500-600 plus. McKeesport's going to have a 1st and 10 here from the 48-yard line. Haven't quite broke the 50 yet. Going to snap the ball. Looks like a little bit of a delayed handoff up the middle. Might have been like an option play. Quarterback wanted to see what he had because you only have that split second. But he did end up, looks like, doing the right thing, in my opinion, giving the ball to his back.
That offensive line is opening up holes. I mean, you could drive
a truck through that. That's exactly what I was going to say. Their offensive linemen, same thing as the defense. It definitely looks like they have the size advantage. Yeah. And they're using their advantage. McKeesport lines up for another snap here. It's going to be that QB sneak that we saw a couple plays ago.
Looked
like about the same play, that little fake handoff action, and the quarterback runs to the right side. But as you said, Tommy, Albert Gallatin, they read that very quickly.
And I was going to say, I'm looking at the Albert Gallatin defensive line right now, and they're not small. They have size. They're comparable.
Yeah, they actually absolutely. Just because one team has a size advantage does not mean that the other team is lacking size.
I think the big difference between the Tigers and the Colonials is the Colonials' size at linebacker is definitely different. It's more of a coverage.
Yes. I agree with that. It's more of like a drop back kind of situation. Whenever you're a running back, you can't really blitz too much when the running back has 6 inches on you.
Exactly.
And again, that's not because Albert Gallatin's small. They're just utilizing what they have against such a large team. As McKeesport here, they're going to take a timeout. Their coach didn't look too happy here since we're on the McKeesport side of the field.
You wonder if they're going to air the ball out at all tonight.
That running game's working for them. That running game is working for them. That's all I can say.
We may not see a pass play from the Tigers this half.
With only 3 minutes to go here, and you got 4 rushing touchdowns.
Why change it up?
We're coming back from the short break here on the field. McKeesport already squared up here. Albert Gallatin getting into position. Umpire tells them we're ready to go. McKeesport snap under center, handoff up the right side of the middle of the line. Good for a couple, but Albert Gallatin's that left side of the defensive line and those linebackers on the left side, excellent job getting to the ball.
They're holding their end now, and I feel like the Colonials have settled into this game to not let the size and the record and the stats get to their head, and it's almost like now they feel like they can compete with them, which I'm going to be interested how the second half goes about.
Yeah, I will be definitely interested. Albert Gallatin, they're holding McKeesport right now. This is a 3rd and 6. This is the first drive that hasn't ended in a couple plays as McKeesport snaps the ball. It's going to be a QB keeper.
He actually fumbled that ball.
Did he fumble
Yeah,
it?
it rolled on the ground for a second.
It rolled on the ground, and then I must have picked up on it after he had fumbled the ball. He tripped him. I don't know if he tripped himself up, tripped on a defender. There was excellent penetration there from the Colonials.
And it's something to note that the Tigers are still going with what looks like to be their first team. The quarterback's the first string. So, I mean, the Colonials are doing this against a very good offense.
Absolutely. Their first string offense, it's very non-traditional for the quarterback to wear the number 22, but that's an easy way to indicate they still got their first string guys in here as they go for it. On 4th down and 4 with about a minute and a half to go in the first half. They're going to pitch to the outside with a wide open hole.
Wow.
He's going to make some excellent moves, and he is in for the score. He made about 5 guys miss. Yeah, he made about 5 Colonial defenders miss. That was an excellent run if I've ever seen one.
That's big time moves right there.
That was some video game kind of stuff. That was an excellent run. Albert Gallatin's doing a great job getting to the ball, but they're not capitalizing. They had this running back contained about 4 times.
I think it's safe to say that the Colonials are breaking off of blocks. I mean, right there, you had three tacklers who had him squared up and just he made a miss. I mean, that's what it boils down to.
Extra point from McKeesport is up and good. McKeesport 35. Albert Gallatin still hanging at that 0 with a minute 32 to go before halftime. As you were saying, Tommy, they definitely are getting to the ball. They're just
not able to finish the play.
If you can have good defense, but it's, I mean, as we're sitting up here, it's excellent offense, especially from the rush. You just have to deal with it. You have to start pulling some stuff out of your back pocket here.
I hope the Colonials don't come out with a minute. I actually can't see the clock.
I have a minute 32 on the clock. I know you have a little bit of an obstructed view there. We'll help you out.
If I'm just hoping they're not passive with this last minute.
I would really like to see play aggressive.
Yeah, what do you have to lose at this point?
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm getting at. And even, you got a minute 32, it's 35-0. It could be a minute 32 in the fourth quarter, 35-0. Play aggressive. Play for something. Play, maybe you're a tailback and you wanted to get 3 or 4 yards. You wanted to get a positive gain in this game. Get that positive gain before the game is over. Don't just roll over. As you said, it's a big gap. It is what it is. Play for something. And I had the privilege of playing for Coach Dindal. Wasn't the head coach at the time. I was on the defensive line. He was a line coach, and he's very strong on that. He's a very aggressive guy when it comes to play calling, and he won't let these guys roll over.
That's what I'm hoping we don't see, just 2 run plays in the half.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm hoping we see something. Maybe it's a run, maybe it's a pass, but you have something that you're trying to create that spark and carry some momentum into the locker room.
Absolutely. That's a great point. As McKeesport kicks off the ball from their left hash mark. This kicker not backing down from these kicks as it's fielded at the 15. And there you go, Albert Gallatin with a very strong punt once again.
I think it's almost safe to say that the Colonials may have the advantage on special teams.
I would be very comfortable with saying that. They've had some excellent returns in this game. Now, we haven't had anything the whole way down the field, but you don't need anything the whole way down the field. When they're able to put together some drives that they have against a team that is this impressive, you don't need to run those balls back.
I mean, this may be a little bit of a uneducated guess, but I'd like to see the statistics of how the Colonials are gaining yards once they start past the 30-yard line compared to behind it.
Yes.
I mean, it's a completely different offense.
Albert Gallatin's going to go ahead and snap the ball. That's going to go nowhere. It stayed in Moody's hands the whole time. Wasn't sure if that was going to be that sneak that we saw. He might have dropped back, but I think we just had a little bit of collapse from that line. It looked like he stepped back rather than stepping forward, so that's going to be my guess. But Albert Gallatin here, they're going to let the clock roll. We got a minute left until the halftime. We're going to be at the 35-yard line, 2nd and 12. We got some receivers out, which is something that Albert Gallatin hasn't really been doing. They have receivers on either end of the field. As they snap the ball, they're going to hand it off. That play's going to go nowhere as well. Or do we have a fumble on the play? We saw a snap, and we saw bodies to that ball, but
and maybe that was a design pass play.
It could have been. It could have been. Sometimes you get those flukes.
7 seconds left and a half. First and 10 from the Colonial 36-yard line.
And that's exactly what happened, Tommy. They fumbled the ball somewhere in the backfield there. They had those bodies come out, and it could have been a passing play. Somebody let go of the ball whenever there was that penetration, and, all of a sudden you had a couple good plays. Now we're rolling with McKeesport on offense again.
And you wonder if McKeesport's going to try to put one more score on the board, just
assert dominance in a sense.
They're passing.
McKeesport's going to drop back, let go of the ball. This is spot on.
Wow.
Did he come down with it? He comes down with it on one play from the 36-yard line on first down. Well, Tommy, with 30 seconds here, we did see a pass play, and I'd have to say it was spot on.
Yeah. This offense is – I know we've said it probably a million times, but it is impressive how they haven't missed a beat on offense. There was – the previous drive, they kind of were a little sluggish on a couple plays, but I mean, really, it's something to watch.
Yeah, and here's an interesting thing I haven't noticed. Their starting quarterback is holding for extra points as well, as that extra point is up and good for McKeesport. 30 seconds to go in the second quarter. Your score, McKeesport 42, Albert Gallatin 0. But that's not something you really see. You typically see, they've kind of shied away from the backup doing it in recent years. It's more or less a punter, or if you carry a field goal kicker and a place kicker, it's usually the place kicker.
Yep.
But that's interesting to see him, the quarterback, on 2 of the 3 sides of the ball.
And I think the big advantage of that I could think of is a team like this, when they're in a close game, maybe you run a fake field goal or a fake extra point. And you have your signal caller back there. He's ready to go. He's ready to make the play. So, that could be the strategy there. I'm not sure, but that would definitely be, I think, the only logical reason to put him in harm's way. Really.
Absolutely. So Albert Gallatin's getting ready for the return. McKeesport obviously getting ready to kick off here. The kick's going to go from left to right from where we're sitting. And and then there's another, penalties cost Albert Gallatin a touchdown essentially, because McKeesport was able to get down to the 25, 30-yard line without even snapping the ball. And then there's a turnover that has cost him a touchdown. So that's 14 points. As McKeesport kicks the ball off. Another kind of a line drive. That's fielded at the 10-yard line by Albert Gallatin. He's going to try to cut to the inside, but he's going to be met by McKeesport defenders at about the 22-yard line.
And I wonder if that kick is by design.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Kickers are very they're creatures of habit. So if you see a pop-up where a kick has a very high arc, it's going to be like that every time. If you see a kick with a line drive, it's going to be like that every time. Now, you have strategic ways. If you're trying to prevent the run back, it'll be more of a line drive because your defenders can get down the field faster, opposed to as if it was a high arcing ball. But that's interesting to see. As Moody's going to snap the ball about the 22-yard line. That's going nowhere for Albert Gallatin as the clock ticks with 16 seconds to go until the half. Albert Gallatin, if they do have time to run another play, we'll be looking at a 42-point deficit going into the half, and they are not going to run another play as we have 3, 2, 1, and we are at halftime.
And that's the end of your first half. McKeesport 42, Albert Gallatin 0.
So your score at the half, AG 0, McKeesport 42, electrifying on one side, just trying to get a grip on the other. We'll be right back with the Albert Gallatin Marching Band on AGTV Sports on Fayette TV, channel 77, and at agtvsports.com.
2018 Tiger Marching Band presents their halftime show entitled Submerged, What Lies Beneath. Music by Key Poulon. This year's show centers around a happy day on a cruise when a creature overtakes it and takes the band and audience on an underwater voyage. The band is led onto the field by drum majors Isis Chorba and Haley Dumick. Tonight we will be performing the first 3 movements of our show. The first movement portrays the ship sinking and includes clarinet soloist Olivia Bakatursky. The second movement showcases Xavier Andrews, flute soloist, and Eric Stripsky, alto saxophone. The third movement, the ballad, includes Nia Green, trumpet soloist. Drum majors Isis Chorba and Haley Dumick, is your band ready? You may take the field for halftime performance. Marching Band performs annually at Kennywood, community parades and events, competitions and football games. McKeesport participates in the Tournament of Bands Circuit Chapter 8. The Tiger Band achieved a first place in their division in 2010, 2012, 2013, 2014, and 2015. Additionally, the group has qualified for Atlantic Coast Championships held in Hershey, Pennsylvania for the past 10 years. We'd also like to wish the Albert Gallatin Band good luck on their halftime performance.
Department at Albert Gallatin is proud to present the Colonial Marching Band. This year's band is under the direction of Mr. C.J. Durso, Assistant Director and Percussion Lead Wyatt Wilson, Auxiliary Instructor Amber Hildock, Brass Instructor Chaz Gibson, and Drum Majors Ramona Thompson and Nathaniel Gibson. This year's show features some of our staff members' favorite pop songs. Tonight, you will hear 24 Karat Magic, The Greatest, and Bye Bye Bye, with a percussion feature performed by the Albert Gallatin High School Drumline.
Ladies and gentlemen, this just in. A special congratulations to Miss Jessica Victor. She had asked the homecoming, and she said yes. Congratulations, Miss Jessica Victor.
So welcome back to York Run Stadium after the halftime. Both bands performing. Albert Gallatin not looking so good on the scoreboard tonight. We got 42-0 if you're just checking back with us. About 20 seconds until third quarter starts. Albert Gallatin already ready to go, looks like, lined up for the kickoff. McKeesport just filing off the field from their warm-ups. Tommy, you want to walk us through what happened down at halftime?
So I was down on the field. My sister is a senior here, Jessica Victor. She twirls fire. She's a majorette. And she was asked to homecoming. So a little surprise to me. I was down on the field lighting batons. And I see somebody walking with a sign and try staying out of the way. Hopefully I'm not in any pictures. So.
Well, good for her as the Colonials kick it off. Short kick, taken at the 30-yard line, brought up to the McKeesport. Got a host of tacklers going to bring the ball carrier down about the 43-yard line. As I said, we get rolling here in the third quarter. 42-0 McKeesport.
Let's see what type of personnel they put out for the second half. It looks like their offensive line, just going off of numbers, recognizable. It looks like they have their same starting five on the offensive line.
As far as I can see, I mean, you can't really go with faces in this kind of situation. But now they do have a different quarterback, and as we talked about earlier, that 22 is very distinctive. Looks like a number 7 in it quarterback, so that is something to watch as they snap the ball under center, run it up the middle for minimal gain, maybe 2 to 3 yards. We'll give you an update as soon as we can see something up on the board here.
You wonder how effective they'll be with a backup quarterback. I mean, I really can't see this team missing a beat. I mean, it looks like just by looking on their sideline, they have depth.
They're absolutely stacked with players as we go for a 2nd and 7 for McKeesport on the 46-yard line. They're going to toss it out to the side. Ball came out. It looks like Albert Gallatin might have the ball here. Right at the very end of the play.
That's
looks
huge.
Like that is huge to get the ball rolling in the second half. They are going to give it to Albert Gallatin here right at the end of that last play. That ball was just easily stripped right out of the ball carrier's hands, and we're going 1-1 on turnovers here, and it's going to be Colonials' ball. They're going to set up for a 1st and 10 on that same 46-yard line that McKeesport just lined up on.
Now, Robbie, what type of offense do you think we'll see from the Colonials?
Well, I'd like to see that passing offense as we drop back, and there is a pass. It's a shade overthrown, just a little bit over his head. I'd like to see some shotgun passing.
For sure.
I'd like to see some shotgun passing because not that the running wasn't successful, but you're into a point now. Let's, like we talked about earlier in the game, let's build for our next opponent here.
Yeah.
Let's build on that. They're obviously a little shy throwing the ball. Let's build against a really good team as the Colonials line up for a 2nd and 10.
And the thing is, that's a philosophy not only on the Colonial side, but also the Tiger side of the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You can do
Wow.
the same thing as we have a massive hit. Driven into the ground after the whistles, but we're going to keep playing here. 3rd and 10. They're going to spot the Colonials. They're going to give them the forward progress, spot them at the 46-yard line. How about the way this evening turned out weather-wise? I was expecting the worst about 20 minutes before kickoff. We had some steady rain here.
Yeah, and that's for sure. I mean, the forecast earlier today was looking like it was going to be sloppy conditions,
For sure. Moody's back in the pocket. He's getting run down back there and ultimately will get sacked. We have a player for the Colonials. Looks like he's a little slow to get up here. We'll see what's going to happen.
I can't see the number. 50 maybe?
I have a 50 or 58. It's tough to tell with those black uniforms with the silver lettering. Definitely looks like a lower leg injury. He's sitting up now, but he is still on the ground here.
Could be a cramp.
Could be a cramp. Yeah, this is it's hot. It's very muggy. You don't get the right fluids. You could have a cramp. That's good to see he's up and walking off out under his own power.
It's definitely a positive.
We got a number 50 for the player down. You have the rosters there in front of you. Could you fill us in on who number 50 is for the Colonials?
That is, and it looks like I don't have a complete roster here.
We don't have a 50. Well, that's okay. Let me see if I can pull something up here as the game gets rolling again. We had Alex McMiller for the Colonials down. Going to be punted back. Very, very close to getting blocked there, but able to get it off.
That's a good punt.
That is a very good punt for where they're at. Get them down, you get anything inside the 20-yard line, you're looking pretty good, especially whenever you punt it. I believe they were at the 46. It seemed like every play stuck at the 46 there for a while. So, nice little kick, nice little roll. You got McKeesport pinned deep in their own territory. And like we said, we've switched quarterbacks now from McKeesport. So let's see if Albert Gallatin can capitalize on more than likely inexperience from switching these guys out. Maybe they're JV guys, just backup guys, but they're probably not quite as experienced.
And it may be a factor too. Maybe this quarterback has a better arm. Maybe we'll see more passing plays.
Very true, very true. They have different strengths. As McKeesport snaps the ball here, it's a QB keeper out to the right side. That's going to make it second and 10, correction. Not too many yards gained, maybe 3 or 4. They're going to give it to him at the 21, so it's going to be 2nd and 6. And I used to do this a couple years back, 4 years ago. I used to call these games, and there was a team, it was Thomas Jefferson, if I remember correctly. They had a quarterback that would run the ball, and they had a quarterback that would throw the ball. They would rotate every single time a different play happened as McKeesport takes the ball on an end around to the right side.
That's a solid run. I mean,
the back did an excellent job there. He got tied up, but even kept his legs churning and still gained another yard or two. Whenever you get down to that 5-yard line, that yard or two is going to matter, as we got a 1st and 10 after that run from the 32-yard line.
These McKeesport running backs, they're able to make something out of nothing.
Absolutely.
I mean, and that's a key quality to have in high school football. Any level of football, really.
Any level, yeah, I would definitely agree with that. Solid running game, as we can see, especially from McKeesport. That's a key to winning as McKeesport takes the handoff. Looked like a little bit of an option in the backfield. Quarterback had a couple places to go. Hands it off to the first back in the backfield. Minimal gain once again, but enough to keep the ball moving, as we're going to have a 2nd down and 5 from about the 37.
I'm trying to get stats from halftime. Hopefully we could get an idea of.
Yes, that would be excellent. I would like to see where they stand for the rush game. Keysport's going to snap the ball. QB keeper, excellent job finding out where the defenders are. Excellent stiff arm. He's still on his feet all the way down to the 30-yard line. Now, for a quarterback, brushing on what you said, maybe he's a little bit more of a running guy, as in like keeping it to himself, not necessarily a running formation, because the way he scouted out those defenders and just ran right around them, that doesn't look like the first time he's ran the ball.
No, not at all. I mean, he could very easily just be playing a different position, not so much a JV.
Very true. That's another way to look at it too. He could be, a makeshift, running back conversion.
He's actually a senior,
conversion.
apparently, according to this roster.
That's very interesting. As he snaps the ball, tosses it to the left side. McKeesport, another excellent running gain. They're going to have another 1st down. It's just a matter of where they are marked out. They didn't quite get to the end zone, though they got down to around the 5-yard line. Going to be marked at the 4, so we're going to have a 1st and goal with 4 to go. McKeesport just doing an excellent job right out of halftime. They're not skipping a beat, whether we are having some personnel changes or not in their backfield. They're not skipping a beat. They are just running the heck out of the ball. They are living with it.
You can tell that this team has played together for a long time.
Yes. If you have, we'll call him a reserve as he snaps the ball, hands it off to the running back. McKeesport's in for another score. If you have, we'll call him a reserve, as I said, that's a senior, There's some veteran players on this team.
And I think it's something to say, too, with this student section. I mean, we obviously can't hear the Colonial student section from us, but this student section here, they've kept energy throughout this game. They travel well.
We are lined up on the McKeesport side of the ball as they get ready to kick their extra point here. Or we are on McKeesport side of the field, rather, as the ball is back. The hold is good. Kick is low, but through the upright. Your score with 4:17 to go in the third quarter is going to be McKeesport 49, Albert Gallatin 0. But as I was saying before McKeesport went ahead and kicked their extra point, we set up shop on the McKeesport sideline. We're on the visitor sideline, which is a little bit of a non-traditional thing. But looking down and hearing McKeesport sideline and then looking across to Albert Gallatin. Now I know McKeesport isn't far away from us. We're down on the south side of Uniontown, whereas McKeesport's up towards Pittsburgh. That's a short hour, 15-minute drive. There's just as many people here from McKeesport, it seems like, than there is for Albert Gallatin. And crowd makes a big difference. If you can be the road team and almost make it a home game, quote-unquote, that's just going to add fuel to the fire, already being up 49-0.
I just want to take this second to shout out to the high school golfers for AG for their senior night. I'm an AG alum on the golf team, and congrats to those guys, and hopefully they enjoy their senior year.
Yes, congrats to those guys. That's a excellent achievement. From what I've been told by the guy running the show back here, Mr. Nuttall, they're doing pretty good this year.
Yeah,
I'm not a record or anything, but good for them. Good for them. McKeesport going to get ready to kick off here, give the ball back to the Colonials. High arcing kick, fielded at about the 13-yard line, we'll call it, breaks out to the side. And that's going to come up to be about a 10-yard return, Tommy. That's not bad.
No, that's not bad at all.
Yeah, that's not bad.
It's manageable. It gives you.
Yes.
It doesn't put you in a hole early.
You're not backed up on your own goal line where really all you have to do is run, because you don't want to risk a safety or even running out of the back of the end zone if you have to scramble. So you can definitely open up the playbook, get the ball rolling from here. Going to be spotted about the 25 actually.
And I just got information from the stat guy, Alex Arnold. 218 yards in the first half.
218 yards. That's astonishing. Albert Gallatin gets ready to run their first play, 1st and 10 from the 25. Gonna air it out a little bit of a screen pass, take advantage of that zone coverage on the D. As the clock continues to roll here with about 2.5 to go in the third quarter, score of 49-0.
AG had 34 in the first half.
That is not a manageable deficit.
No.
That is not the manageable deficit that we talked about before we even got the game rolling.
So I thought there was a fluke maybe in the numbers, but it's definitely legit.
As bad as it sounds, I firmly, you told me 200 plus compared to 34. I can firmly see that. Albert Gallatin puts a man in motion, runs it on the 2nd and 5. Nice gain for the Colonials. Nice gain. They took a 2nd and 5 from the 30. They're going to get a first down here easily. A little bit of looks like a 9-yard gain, maybe not quite to the 40, but nice little run there.
This offense is not a bad offense. It's not.
Not at all.
It's upsetting that the scoreboard does not reflect
that.
It's
a good offense. It's just an excellent defense. Albert Gallatin going to go ahead and line up for their first down play. Put that man in motion again. Snap from under center. Moody rolls out, pitches it to that motion man, kind of followed behind him. Looked like a little bit of a QB option. Could have kept it himself. Saw that there were more than a couple. I could see at least 3 defenders right up in his face. So he pitches it back to the running back that he sent in motion there.
I think it was well timed too.
Yeah, it was definitely well timed. Turned something out of nothing. Yeah, you get a couple 3 yards. That's all right on a first down. Going to line up again here. Here is what I thought was shotgun, but they are going to go under center. Run it right up the middle. There's a nice little gain right up the middle for Albert Gallatin. That's a nice little fire starter for a drive.
Carrying the ball hit for the Colonials, number 2, Cole Dupont.
Cole Dupont on the run for the Colonials. Going to bring up a third down, but he almost broke at least that first down. I think he had one too many guys in front of him to really bust one out. But let's see what the Colonials can do on third down.
He's a very good downhill runner.
Yes, yeah, it definitely showed on that play. Absolutely showed. Looking like the end of the third quarter. It is the end of the third quarter. So that score is going to stay the same. It's going to be 49-0 in favor of McKeesport as we get ready to head into the fourth quarter here. Very curious to see what AG does here. 3rd and 1 to be exact from the 48-yard line. I'm curious, do they open up this playbook running into the fourth quarter? You don't have any points on the board yet. Or do they stick with that run? That run's been pretty successful on these last couple drives.
I feel like on a 3rd and 1, you're, without doubt, I would hope you're in four down territory.
Absolutely.
I would try to pass it or do something different. I mean, you still have one play. You still have one down to play with. Do something creative on third down.
Yes.
See if you can shake it up.
Yeah, I would like to see, you know, I don't know if, I don't want to call it a trick play, but maybe something like one of those options they ran where they went, Moody took it out to the right side, tossed it back to his motion man, maybe something like that. Just a nice little 3-yard gain to get the ball rolling again, get you refreshed with a first down.
Looks like a jumbo package almost.
Moody's going to roll to the right. It looks like he is going to run that option play, put that man in motion. He followed him right up the back, but Moody, unlike the last time they ran that play, was a step ahead of the defenders, able to keep it himself. That's going to give Albert Gallatin their first down.
I think they caught the Tigers leaning a little bit on that inside
I think
run.
they did too. I think that McKeesport, they were ready for something up the middle. They kind of strengthened everybody to the middle. And Albert Gallatin able to take advantage. Albert Gallatin's going to line up again for a 1st and 10 on the 49. Going to snap it back. Moody's going to hand off to his halfback, and he's going to be met at the line of scrimmage by a whole host of defenders from McKeesport.
Tackle made by number 2, Thomas Wyatt, and number 58.
How about, while we have a little bit of a stoppage here, how about this new turf?
I know, it's beautiful.
I have not been back since they put it in. It looks fantastic.
I like that they added more color.
Yes. I was talking to some people at halftime. I said I like how the team boxes are shaded in. Like it really emphasizes the color. I like it a lot. Whenever your colors are black and silver, it's tough to emphasize it a whole lot. As Albert Gallatin snaps the ball, Moody's gonna throw an interesting kind of, I don't know if it was a toss option. It was tough to read. He threw it to his left on the left side of the field. If it was a toss, the defenders read it perfectly. If it was a screen, it was definitely man and not zone. So the receivers met in the backfield, to say the least. Going to bring up a 3rd and long from the 45. Albert Gallatin's going to go back across their own 50-yard line. Going to make it 3rd and 16 at their own 45 whenever they were on McKeesport's 49, not necessarily deep in territory, but anything across the line is a good start. Albert Gallatin's going to snap the ball. Moody drops back. Let's see what he can do with the arm. He throws the ball down the field just a little bit high.
He had a man open.
He had a man open. He had a man open as long as he's capable of coming down with contact. If he can put that right in his chest, that's a gain of about 20 yards, 25 yards on a 3rd down and 16. Unfortunately, like we said, the play's just a shade high. Looked like man coverage, just a single man covering him.
And the Colonials decide to punt the ball. That's an interesting call.
It's an interesting call. Nathan Sutton's been a busy man. He's been a very successful man. He's been putting down some good punts as his punt travels to about the 28-yard line. The issue I would have had with them going with it on 4th down, not that I would have disagreed, is it's 3rd and 16. You get pushed to your own side of the field instead of being on the other side of the field.
That's true.
You get pushed 5 yards back instead of being a yard ahead. Haven't had much success on the conversions today. It would have been tough to give the ball back on. It would have been tough to give the ball to McKeesport, a team that's scoring.
I was saying, especially against this offense, it's tough to justify.
We saw them score on the 20-yard line on a draw up the middle, on their own 20-yard line, I might add. So it would have been tough to just hand the ball to them in their own territory. But again, it goes back to the building thing as McKeesport snaps the ball in the first play of their drive for a 1st and 10. Runs to the outside.
That's good defense.
Stop very immediately. That's a great job reading the play. McKeesport with the ball back still has that commanding lead of 49-0. We're approaching 7.5 minutes left in the game.
And it's interesting that McKeesport has not just put it down the middle and ran the clock out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, as far as the whippeal goes, as McKeesport snaps the ball, looked like a little QB keeper up into, looked like the 4 gap. Very minimal game once again. It's going to bring up a 3rd and 9 from the 31. As far as the whippeal goes, the mercy rule is in effect.
Yeah.
At our game here, the mercy rule, for those of you that don't know, is a 35-point gap in the second half of the game. So, being 49-0, we're definitely within that. So they might as well open up their playbook.
Yeah. Try new things.
They don't necessarily have to. You would think a respectable move would be to run out the clock and the whole 9 like that. But if it's going to run anyway.
I mean, yeah, and the same thing is they have a team to prepare for next week.
Absolutely, yeah. They actually have next week. If I can pull it up here really quick, they will be facing Penn Trafford at McKeesport next week, whereas Albert Gallatin will be facing Armstrong in Katanning, Pennsylvania. So that's up at Armstrong High School.
That's a tough road trip.
Are at 7 o'clock. That is a tough road trip. So Albert Gallatin, build off of the aggressive play that they've seen so far tonight, because probably going to see it again next week. Yeah, of the 2 games, Albert Gallatin at Armstrong, that's going to be a much more difficult game for the Colonials than it will be for this McKeesport team taking on Penn Trafford.
And I feel like with the mercy rule in play right now in the second half, it's a tough pill to swallow for the Colonials.
Yes.
Because
you never want to see that happen.
No, it's frustrating that you have momentum on offense here and there. You have sparks. But with the limited time to play, it makes it really difficult to erase that.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Whenever, you're down to 6:23 in the 4th quarter, and whenever, game time, football, 1 minute usually equates to about 2 real minutes, roundabout, just judging, by the speed of the game. But whenever 1 minute is 1 minute, it's going to be tough to get anything rolling as McKeesport snaps the ball once again. Rush out to the left side. Stopped. I'm not even sure if they got it back to the original line of scrimmage there. It just depends on where they put the counter up here. It's going to be 4th down. Yeah, they're going to be well short of that. It's going to be 4th and 13 at the 27. Something like that's even good for Albert Gallatin to keep in the back of their head. They held them pretty decently. A lot of, kept them behind the line plays.
It'll be big if the Colonials can find a way to score here.
Yes, it will.
Carry something to next week positive that you can build off of. Which they do have things they can build off of. The special teams,
I think, was
very
excellent.
good.
I think the special teams was excellent.
And their offense has not been bad.
No. I really think as the punt's away from McKeesport, booming punt down the field, they're going to let it bounce all the way down. It hit the ground at about the 35, and McKeesport's going to knock it down inside the 20-yard, or inside the 21-yard line, rather. But, yeah, the special teams has been excellent. The offense and the defense, for that matter, it's there. It's absolutely there. This is just an excellent opponent.
And I feel like, I don't know about you, Robbie, but we got to the second half very quick. I feel like that first half was very exciting, and it contributes to both teams rush the ball.
Yes. Both teams, I mean, McKeesport's main thing, if not before, I think it has to be now, is running the ball. And, you know, the highlight of the game for me, for McKeesport, is that run they busted off from their own 20-yard line, a one-play drive.
Yeah.
And Albert Gallatin, we talked about before, you know, I'm familiar with Coach Dindal, now the head coach over at Albert Gallatin, and just from just being here to witness some of the games, they're going to run it. It's like 80-20.
Yeah.
I would call it 80-20, run the ball. Albert Gallatin's going to snap, put that man in motion, hands it off, up the middle. Nice gain up the middle. Nice gain up the middle on the first down, but it looks like that ball did pop out. It was a very hard hit. That was a very hard hit by McKeesport.
Looks like Tigers' ball.
Yeah, it's going to be McKeesport ball once again. Albert Gallatin's going to turn it over with 4.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Your score is 49-0 in favor of McKeesport.
And I'd be interested to see instant replay on that one because it looked like he was down.
I would love to see some instant replay. I mean, if we ever have it, it's going to be a very long time, but I would love to see some instant replay because, you know, there's been, that's 3 or 4 fumbles now roundabout. You don't know. Like you said, it kind of looked like he was down. You don't know. You just have to, you know, these referees, as McKeesport snaps the ball, QB keeper out to the left side, gain of about 11 yards, but there are some flags on the field. And these referees are very experienced. They're very trustworthy guys, but you got to go with your gut.
Yeah.
And, you know, human error is human error. That happens. But some instant replay would be very interesting on those calls.
On a play like that with the fumble, you have multiple bodies going to one concentrated area. It's hard to follow everything that happens.
You have 22 players on the field who are arguably all running to the ball on a run play to either block or tackle, and you have 4 reps.
Yep.
So that pretty much says it all there. McKeesport going to snap the ball here. That penalty was on McKeesport. I believe it was a holding call if it's only 5-yard penalty. But they're going to gain almost all the yards back on the 1st and 15 because they did repeat the first down. Doesn't look like they quite got to the first down. Might be by the length of the football if they did get it. We'll see what the refs decide to go with here. They're going to decide to go with the 2nd down.
It looks like we have a different quarterback. I thought I noticed him on the previous drive by the Tigers, but
yeah, I believe I did too. I did not highlight it. I'm glad that you caught that, but it does look like they have changed quarterbacks for a 3rd time, which is completely understandable in this situation.
Let people get reps. I mean, see what they can do, and I mean,
let them get reps. And you know why risk as McKeesport snaps the ball here? It's going to be a QB keeper, and he's running with a full head of steam here. He's still running even with about 3 guys on his back. Gets it down to about the 12-yard line. Why risk? His name is slipping my mind. Their starting quarterback, 22.
Davari Robinson.
Why risk injury?
Yeah.
You know, why? I don't see a problem with taking him out. He was, I believe, the last offensive play that McKeesport ran in the 2nd quarter. I believe that was his last appearance. And why put him back out there? They were up 42-0 at the half.
I feel like he earned a day off after that first half.
Yeah, he deserves to, you know, take a breather, cheer on his guys here, get him through the rest of the game.
And from what we saw, he doesn't have a bad arm either.
Not at all. I can see him down here. He's taking a nice seat on the bench, relaxing a little bit. As McKeesport's going to go ahead and kneel the ball on 1st and 10 from the 13. Now I think we're getting to that point, Tommy. it's kind of a courtesy move, if you will, to just, even though the clock is running, just kind of kill it.
Yeah.
So you can assume on 2nd and 10 from the 13 here with 1 minute to go in the fourth, you can assume it looks like McKeesport definitely isn't a V formation here, the victory formation. He's definitely going to kneel it again. There it is.
And that's the right move.
It is the right move. McKeesport played phenomenally. They played lights out, all three sides of the ball. Like we talked about, the only argument I think you have is on special teams. Albert Gallatin did a fantastic job on special teams tonight. Let that roll into next week. But McKeesport, you ran your plays, you got your yards, you put your points on the board. Time to wrap it up, get ready. I'm sure they both, I don't have a JV schedule in front of me, but I'm sure they both have some games to get ready for in the morning. But on that note, it is going to be a victory as everybody lines up at midfield here. It's going to be a victory for McKeesport. Tonight we have a final score as 1 second runs off the clock of McKeesport 49 and Albert Gallatin 0. Albert Gallatin TV is going to be broadcasting the next home game, which is going to be right now on September 28th against Franklin Regional High School. So that'll be another big home test for the Colonials at a 7:30 kickoff. And that's about all we have tonight.
Yep.
I am Rob Flockovich. Alongside me is Tommy Victor. We want to thank you for watching the AGTV Sports on Channel 77 Fayette TV.